to the thrilling chase through the galaxies, the series that defies the laws of gravity and probably of several states and counties around the world, the CariMurph Player Spotlight, Episode 2! A sequel's always worse than the original? Let's hope not. I don't think they're always bad, especially when you see who we're talking to. Our scientific experiment to dissect Under the Knife this week is a name anyone familiar with Destiny 2 should know, but few of those pronounce his name right. Gernader James? Grenadier Jack? Gernader Jake. This popular carrot-wielding, trials-acing legend has been lovely enough to answer many of the questions that we all want to know about his experiences in the game Destiny 2 and in life itself. Sit back, Jungle Squad, and let's make sure we have a mercy card ready as we buckle into our seats for a carry through the life and times of Gernader Jake.
Gernader Jake, also known as Jake Strauss, was born to the loving family of Dave and Sharon, along with his older brother Zach. He grew up in the Bay Area of California, where he went to high school, meeting the love of his life, Kelsey, the two now very happily married. Finishing his high school years, Jake attended Willamette University in Salem, Oregon. Jake's streaming endeavors began around this time, and he bounced between cities, from Las Vegas to Denver, back to his homeland in the Bay Area of Cali, as he found a place to settle with his wife in Vancouver, Washington, in 2017. They would be joined by a family of pets, including dogs Ava, Aspen, and cat Ash. Since 2015, Gernader Jake has been turning what was once purely a fun hobby into a blossoming career as a content creator and streamer. He is most notably a Destiny streamer, but has had success in many other games, including Fortnite, Apex Legends, H1Z1, and even sponsored game activations. Jake is a very active person, with exercise a big passion, and in 2012 he even ran the Portland Marathon. His website says that although he may never run another one, he can still boast those 26.2 miles proudly. And having walked the 22 miles of the Bridge North Walk myself for charity, I can only imagine what a feat that was. Congratulations, Jake. Jake crossed an item from his bucket list in 2018 when he competed in the WSOP main event, a worldwide series in poker. Unfortunately, he says, after one successful day, his pocket aces sent him to the rails on day 2. But what a huge accolade to have even appeared at this tournament. Of spades clearly not being the only ace of which our Jake can masterfully play with. As well as exercise and poker, baseball is a huge passion for Jake. Pre-coronavirus, Jake and his father Dave had nearly completed a personal bucket list challenge for themselves of visiting each and every baseball stadium together, with a whopping 24 of 30 completed. This goal should see reality soon. Yet another awesome achievement to this young man's name. Building a thriving community in his stream family, the Jungle Squad, Jake became a popular streamer within the Bungie game, Destiny 2, with free helps to viewers going for flawless in the PvP 3v3 game mode, Trials of Osiris. It was a good draw for his viewers, and they surely stayed for his laid-back and approachable personality, with plenty to learn from and lots of laughs. Jake boasts many accolades in the Destinyverse, with many of those coming from the PvP game mode Trials of Osiris. Destiny Trials report currently shows Jake at over 3,600 flawless cards, having gilded his flawless seal a whopping 9 times, and the now unachievable Unbroken title 5 times, with over 670 first-time Guardian Sherpas to the Lighthouse. It isn't hard to see how Gernader Jake is one of the most popular Destiny 2 PvP streamers in the world. His personal achievements include most flawlesses, most carries in Destiny 1 and 2 combined, and world's first ever flawless in the game of Destiny 2. If a man could personify the mode for me, it would be Gernader Jake, with the phrase like, "Just give me a sniper and we will all be fine," emblazoned on his website about me. You know this man will get the job done, swiftly and with pinpoint accuracy, to the head. A short message just to say that I've recently become an ambassador for Guardians Mental Health, and I'd really like to just share some information with you about them now. Guardians Mental Health is a 501c3 non-profit mental health organization that is focused on spreading mental health awareness and meaningful resources throughout the gaming space. They provide first step support with gathering resources, peer support, and where to find a mental health professional near you. They are not a replacement for dedicated professional help, but have a fantastic range of resources enabling you to find a mental health provider, get tips to boost your mental health, and reach some fantastic mental health kits available. Go check them out at guardiansmh.org now, or they are available on all good social media platforms. Thank you for listening. Not only is this man a killer on the field, but is balanced by a softer side that many smaller streamers have told me they'd like to see him thanked for in this interview. Having been raided by Gernader Jake from out of the blue without even knowing him, hundreds of his viewers, the Jungle Squad, flocking to support someone starting out in content creation world as he once did. It's not hard to see how Jake has as many fans as he does. He has a heart of gold and really tries to give as much as he can back to the people around him. He had no idea who I was, generally declined interviews, but took a chance on me from nowhere to take this interview and let me have as much of his time as I needed to complete it with my extra disabilities and needs. He strikes me as someone genuinely enjoying the game for himself, but just switching the camera on to let you watch what would already be happening, whether you were there or not. No acting, no gimmicks, and when he's unhappy, letting you know in a cool, calm, collected, and legible way why, with what he'd suggest you could do to improve it, with many people echoing his sentiments. After all, if one man had to know this game mode inside out, with years of experience and insight, I find it very difficult not to bow to this young man's expertise. With Jake's stream account recently turning 15 years, having been created on the 18th of August 2008, we thank him for his commitment to logging in every week, carrying us potatoes, or carrots should I say, through endless trials games, and for genuinely being this real-life person that we can sit and hang out with as part of the Jungle Squad, as well as being an elite gamer in their prime. Gernader Jake feels like a friend through the screen that we can have fun with as he laughs, and support him as the matches get a little difficult or the game throws up some curveballs. One thing's for sure, with over 171 carries of Guardians to flawless this season, and a new one about to start, there's no stopping Gernader Jake. And if you see him with a sniper rifle in his character's hands, you better run.
What up, everybody? Gernader Jake here, and today's video should be kind of fun. I'm just going to answer some questions and let y'all know a little bit more about me. So let's figure this out together. The first question is, you seem to have a very loving relationship. How does your partner feel about your work as a content creator, and does she stream herself? Does she have any way of supporting you while you're live or when you're done? So my wife, Kelsey, and I have been together for a very long time, and she used to stream a little bit herself, but now she really doesn't. How does she feel about me streaming? At first, it was a little bit scary for her. She was worried I was going to get too excited by the idea of being a full-time gamer and streamer, and she was very hesitant about me getting too excited because she didn't want my hopes to get snapped. But once things kind of started to work out for me, she became very supportive. The number one way in which she supports me is just through her understanding. And what I mean by that is sometimes as a streamer, you need to pour the hours in. Maybe there's a week or so when Lightfall launches or when Trials launches that I just can't be a husband. I am so focused on being a streamer. And the way she supports me is by understanding that. She doesn't judge me. She doesn't criticize me. She understands that my line of work involves sometimes being completely not present in the relationship. She also supports me by bringing me food and stuff during those longer streams, which is a wonderful day-to-day support. But she supports me through understanding, and that's one of the very many reasons why we get along so well. All right, question number 2 is, what is your favorite color? And Yeah, it's orange. I've always loved orange for some reason. Even as a little kid, I remember wearing bright orange shorts almost every day to school. I am a big baseball fan. The San Francisco Giants are orange. I have a birthday in October. Halloween is very orange. So I don't know. The Giants, Halloween, something, I don't know what it is. I've always loved orange. And then, of course, I'm very into carrots too. I used to eat carrots all the time when I first started streaming because they were so easy to snack on, so healthy, so cheap. Everything about them was great. And they're orange. I don't know. I just love orange. I even have a bright orange Tesla Model S Plaid, which is just absurd. But yeah, I don't know. I love orange. All right, the next question is, have you always been a gamer? Not really. I started playing video games at the age of like 4 with Mario Kart, but it wasn't like obsessive at all. It was every once in a while, my dad would turn on the Nintendo 64 and me, my brother, and him would all race each other in Mario Kart. And then I went from that to Mario 64, and that was about it for a while. In 7th grade, I found Halo 2. And I got so into Halo 2 and started playing it obsessively in 8th grade that my parents had to really limit how much I played. They let me play about 1 hour every school night, a lot more loose on the weekends, but I had to have my homework done first. So Halo was when I first really got addicted to gaming and really got into it. And pretty much like that in Halo 2, I got really good. I started making videos in Halo 3, and it kind of just got rolling early. But yeah, gaming for me took off with Halo. Started with Nintendo, but really got going with Halo. All right, the next question is, you seem very fit. Why, thank you. Do you have any kind of athletic routine, and what kind of advice would you give or encouragement would you give to viewers and gamers looking at how to start? So I don't really have a routine, which is crazy to say. I never really have. I did run a marathon when I was 19 years old, and then I had a routine. There was like some very serious training that went into that. But otherwise, I've kind of just done light weightlifting and light running since I was like 13. And I think the consistency of it is why I've always been in shape for the most part. I have always prioritized my health. I try to get 8 hours of sleep. I try to eat healthy. I try to drink a ton of water. I try to be active at least 3 or so days a week with one of those light workouts where I'm running for 2, 3, 4 miles, where I'm lifting weights, whatever it might be. And the advice, I guess, on where to start is to just start slow. I think a lot of people look at getting into shape and they look at it as big, daunting concept, and they're like, nah, this is too much. I don't want to do it. Just start slow. You can always introduce something into your life that's a little bit of an improvement compared to where you're at now. Whether that's drinking a little bit more water. I mean, how easy is that? Whether that's just trying to go out for a walk every once in a while, because everyone's at a different step, right? Some of us don't move. We barely ever move from our chairs. Well, if that's you, maybe you can start off by just trying to go for like a 3 or 4 minute walk every day. For those who are much higher than that on this scale, maybe if you are scared of jogging, try a 2 or 3 minute jog at some point. Just start slow. You can always improve the way that you're living just a little bit by a little bit. And that's always been my advice to people. I'm by no means a professional athlete or have really any credentials for speaking on this subject besides my own experiences, which are just to improve your situation little by little. And sometimes that will start to make you feel better and you'll be inspired to continue to take little steps for improvement. But for me, being healthy has always made me happier, has made me game better, and it's just made every aspect of my life better. So I've always prioritized it. All right, the next question is about me in school. How was I in school? How was I perceived and described by friends, teachers, etc.? So I was two things, and these two things are almost never the same person, but I was both. I was the class jokester. I made everybody laugh, and the teachers hated me because I was always like speaking when I shouldn't and doing stupid crap I shouldn't be doing to make people laugh. Teachers hated me for that reason, but on the other end, I was actually the straight A student. I was the dude who was always like impressing the teachers with my schoolwork and always setting the example with the schoolwork. So I kind of like had two different things going, which were usually polar opposites, but they worked for me. I was the jokester and the straight A guy. All right, so talk about your love of baseball and this goal that you have with your father of visiting every stadium. So baseball for me, I lived about 30 minutes away from the San Francisco Giants Stadium, and we would go to the games all the time. My brother, my mom, my dad, the four of us. So I always had a love of baseball because I was introduced to it so early in life. And about 10 years ago, my dad and I wanted to visit a few stadiums on the East Coast of the United States, some stadiums we hadn't seen before. And it started the tradition where we were like 30 Major League Baseball teams, 30 stadiums, we should go and visit all of them together. And we have now visited 25 of the 30. We'd already be done if it weren't for COVID interrupting a few years of our progress. So we got to start again soon. But baseball started early in my life, and my dad and I have been on a mission for the last 10 almost years now to see every single stadium together. All right, so what would you be doing if you weren't gaming / streaming for a living? This question's maybe almost impossible for me to answer, and I'll tell you why. The mentality that I've always gone with in life is to take the opportunities in front of you and make the most out of them. And doing so is actually why I'm a streamer, because I never planned to be a streamer. I started doing it for fun, and then I saw a little bit of growth, so it felt like an opportunity. And because I had an opportunity, I tried to make the most out of it by pouring my time and pouring my energy into it. So I never really planned this, just like I never was planning on anything specifically. I knew that there were going to be opportunities that presented themselves if I just continued to be myself and do things I was passionate about. I may have gotten involved in real estate because I had some friends that did real estate, and the idea of helping people find their dream homes is really appealing, but that was the only plan I really had. Otherwise, it's just play things by ear, make the most of situations in front of you. That's what got me here, and that's what's going to probably get me wherever the heck I am in 10, 15, 20 years. What keeps you motivated in Destiny 2 when it goes through a dry spell? So I'm in this really unique situation where I, for some reason, just love playing Trials. It sounds sadistic and sick, but here's the reason why. It's a really clear, obvious goal for both me and my viewers, and it's so easy to follow that goal, and I love that. The goal being, get a new viewer in and try to get them to the lighthouse. It's something that everybody can follow and understand, and it never gets boring because every lighthouse run is completely different. The viewer's different, the teams we face are different, the plays we make are different, the plays the enemy team makes is different, the way the map is positioned and played is different. Every single game is so unique compared to the last one. Every Trials card is so unique compared to the last one that Trials itself never gets boring to me. Maybe it does get frustrating sometimes, but not boring. So how do you keep a cool head when you hit a tough loss or a team with a really frustrating loadout beats you in PvP? So sometimes easier said than done, realistically. For me, I try to just remember that these people on the other team very often will come back and watch my stream. Maybe they're really excited they got to play me and they're so excited to see what I say and how I react. And I can completely ruin their day and or their image, my image in their head, if I were to be rude or toxic about it. So I try to remember that. I try to give people applause when they do something good. I try to recognize that was a really good snipe, good for them. But that's easier said than done. There are times where I get really frustrated and I want nothing more than to win. And this team using this really irritating build, camping in corners and not pushing or whatnot, is making it so we lose. And I'll sometimes say some rude stuff and I almost always regret it. But I try to base it, or I try to explain it in the setting that sometimes people play in frustrating ways and we're all humans. So when people play in frustrating ways, camping in corners with weird weapons and Jotuns and lame monarchs and not willing to push unless they, all three peak at the same time or whatever it might be. If people play in frustrating ways, then we as humans are going to experience emotion and we might be frustrated. So I always try to at least justify my frustration with that line of logic, but I try to remember that they are just trying to play a video game and have some fun. There's no reason to give them any crap for how they play it. But at the same time, if I get frustrated, it's very easy to explain why that might be the case and justify it so it doesn't come off too harsh. What advice would you give to somebody who's trying to make it in streaming or as a content creator today? So my advice is to treat it like a hobby. That's what I did originally, and it worked for me, but it doesn't work for a lot of people. And the biggest mistake that I see people make is immediately right away try to treat it like a job. They quit their school, they quit their work, they invest all this money into lighting and crazy PCs, and they expect that if they put all this money and time into it, it's just gonna work out, right? Unfortunately, wrong. I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. I've worked hard for what I have, but I'm also very lucky to be where I am, and I recognize that. There are a lot of people who are good at streaming, who put a ton of hours and money into it, and don't really get anywhere. If you treat it like a hobby, then you can't lose. If you look at it as this is just for fun, I was going to be playing video games anyway, any extra 1 or 2 viewers, any extra 1 or 2 subscribers is just a bonus on top of what was already going to be a fun gaming session for me. The people who look at it like a job are the ones who get frustrated when I only made $10 in 10 streams. Like, this is horse crap and I'm pissed about it, right? Those are the people that end up getting upset and getting angry and getting discouraged. Whereas those who are doing it just as passion and just for fun, instead embrace every single subscriber, every single viewer. It's all positive for them. There's not an expectation they have to reach. So treat it like a hobby. Have some fun with it. If it works out, and that's awesome. If it doesn't, you're still just playing video games. So who the hell cares? All right, so this next question's a little bit complicated. Why do you stick with Destiny 2 after all these years? Why not play other games? Let's try to get through a complicated question relatively quickly. One, I do play other games, but not too much. I definitely focus on Destiny. Destiny community is one of the very big reasons that I continue playing Destiny 2, both the community within my stream and outside of it. As a whole, the Destiny community is just a wonderful group of people that I like being associated with and like being around. I also, as talked about earlier, love trials, and I've built a system around my stream related to carrots. You earn carrots by watching my stream, and those carrots you earn can either gamble them. You can either gamble them in raffles for a chance to come to the lighthouse, or you can guarantee a run with an auction and go to the lighthouse. The system that I've built, people have spent years and years and years acquiring these carrots, and I almost feel like it's a obligation of mine to continue to stream trials to give all these folks who've been trying to win these raffles or trying to save up for these auctions. I want to give all of them as many opportunities as they can to get to the lighthouse. I have an ongoing list of every person I've carried flawless. I have over 5,000 names on that list across Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and I want that list to keep growing because there are so many people who want that chance to go flawless, whether it's just because it's with me or whether they just want that loot for themselves and they've never been there before. I feel a responsibility to get as many folks there as possible. So I'm highly driven by both trials, the carrot system that I've got, as well as by the community as a whole and being associated with it. Okay, let's give the full story about carrots. We'll give more than just the little blip I gave earlier. When I first started streaming, I was living in a condo alone, nowhere near a grocery store, and I don't know how to cook, okay? I don't know how to cook. And I was not in a good situation eating-wise. So what did I used to do? I used to go to the grocery store once a week, get some really easy stuff, including a bag of big, bulky carrots. And then once per stream, every stream, I would get these gigantic carrots out of the fridge, at least one of them, and I just gnaw away. They're healthy, they're easy to eat, they're cheap. Everything about them was so perfect. You just grab them out of the fridge. So I became known really fast as that carrot guy, right? I would just take these giant freaking carrots. I'd take like an hour to eat them because I'd have to put it down during every game and eat them between the games. So that's how carrots became a thing, and I embraced it, and I made it my channel currency. There's emotes, there's badges, there's everything. Look at the carpet. Look at the freaking carpet. There's all kinds of things that are carrot related. I have a tattoo, although it's a little faded. It's a carrot. We embraced it. It's just a fun little silly thing that came from how I used to eat back when I first started streaming. All right, well, that's going to do it for all the questions. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. I do stream full-time on Twitch, twitch.tv/GernaderJake, and I think I do a pretty darn good job of reading my chat. So if you thought of any questions that you didn't get answered or you'd like to learn a little bit more about me, feel free to come on over to the stream. I'd love to see you in chat. Hopefully I can answer any questions for you or maybe even help you get to the lighthouse if you either get lucky enough to win a raffle or save up enough of these carrots to guarantee yourself a run with an auction. I appreciate the opportunity for this video. Thank you very much for reaching out. And thank you to everybody who enjoyed watching. Have a good one. I don't know how to do an outro on somebody else's video, but bye.
Massive thank you to Gernader Jake for giving me the opportunity to interview him. He has been a saint throughout this process, and I genuinely really appreciate this, and I hope to be lucky enough to play with him in the future. Please find links for Jake's content here on screen now. Do go and join the Jungle Squad Discord. It's a fantastic place to be, and try a look at a trial Sherpa in one of Jake's streams. Just hanging out there is really cool, and Jake, despite his many fans, is really interactive. He's fantastic. Thanks, dude. Thank you to my new editor, Halo Zanuck, for being amazing. You've been an inspiration of mine for some time, and I'm so excited to finally get to work with you, mate. Please commission Halo at the links on screen now. Luo, as usual, thank you for your incredible music. Luo's tracks are available on iTunes and Spotify, and he's on all good social media platforms. Listen to one of his tracks playing now. and go add it to your playlists on your music playing apps. You won't regret it. Thank you, Max Level. What fantastic work on this first thumbnail for me. Max is amazing. Please use him for all of your thumbnail work. He recently had a poorly puppy, so I really want you guys to go and use Max. And, you know, it'll go to a good cause because it's helping his puppy. Thanks, guys. If you'd like to recommend someone for me to interview next time, pop them in the comments, like and subscribe, and maybe you'll see them in our next video. And as always, from me, thank you very much. I've been CariMurph, and this has been another Player Spotlight video. Hope to do many more in future. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep making them. Thanks, guys. And as always, eyes up, Guardians. Bye.